Greetings and welcome to the Halloween edition of the Sliders Review. And I'm here today to talk to you about Chucky Season 3, Episode 2. I think it's called Let the Right Ones In. So, I am curious to know what the end game of this season is. Thank God it's not as campy as Season 2, but it's not holding my interest as strong as Season 1. Because Season 1 was the first Chucky anything I've ever seen, so I was just waiting for all the magic and all the cool stuff to happen. Here, I've noticed that this season is very heavily dialogue. Like, there's a lot of talking and stuff. And it's mostly Chucky doing his, hiding out or just sitting still and everything and not really having too much of a presence yet in the first two episodes. And so, they're slowly building up to, what the big thing is this season. And I need them to hurry up because, there's only two episodes left before they take a huge hiatus and everything because of the actors' strike, which is still going on. Negotiations have fell apart again. And so, this season is not bad. It's just not really holding my attention all that much. But I am curious nonetheless. Because I've been curious, what the world is Chucky doing in the White House? And how is he going to get away with everything, especially killing folks? Well, there's a fixer for that. And at first, I had no idea who William Price was when I saw him. Because, he has a beard now. He's older. His voice is slightly changed. It's not as high pitched. I could not believe it. It's Gil Bellows, Billy from Ally McBeal, and Maxwell Lord from Smallville. I was flown, and this character is cool. He is playing this character up, which still makes me mad he left Ally McBeal somewhere in the third season. And so, in this season, we learned some really interesting things going on with some of these characters. The boys, who Joseph is, Miss Fairchild is in this episode. And now I know, after I read online, how she took, possession of, the kids as foster kids and stuff. It was at the end of season 2. Still kind of weird how they just gave him to the teacher, but hey, whatever. I still feel like they should have done more with this character, but I kind of feel like, Mancini probably didn't know what to do with this character. And he probably didn't want too many adults telling, the teens what to do and this and that, because she catch Jake and Devin about to do it. And y'all know how I feel about teenagers and, clickety clackety, but they didn't get to that point yet. And it's just I'm tired of seeing that in teen dramas, which is one of the things I hate about slasher series, famous slasher series that get turned into teen dramas. They're more heavily on the teen stuff than they are the actual slasher aspect as say a movie. Similar to I Know What You Did Last Summer and Scream when they got made in the television series. It was all about that teen drama stuff, and I didn't feel like watching that. And so, we actually don't get to see Henry all that much, or the president and everything. But we do get to see a lot of the first lady, and also that of Garrett, the older brother. Which the older brother's personality has kind of shifted a little bit. He's a lot nicer. So anyways, let's talk about the trio first. The trio had a lot to do this episode. Basically, just them standing around talking and everything. Just talking about how they're gonna, get to Washington, D.C., how they're going to get inside the White House, all this and that. So they figure, it gives tours. I figured since Lexi's mom was a former, mayor, governor, senator, something like that, she would pretty much have access inside if she wanted to take a tour, but I guess not. And so they plan on crashing the Halloween party and everything because they needed an invite just to take a tour. And they realized, wait, can't get to the adults, then maybe you can get to the son. And that's when Garrett comes in. So Lexi's doing her whole, like, I'm all that and everything. And trust me, he will melt in my, and when he sees me and all this other stuff. So I'm kind of glad they're going back to season one of having her being arrogant and thinking she's all that, because that kind of went away in season two. Although I did like the character development in season two they had with her. It's just that it's nice to go back to some things in season one, but I don't want her to be that way all the time. And so basically she messaged him talking about, like, her sister missing and all this other stuff. They meet up for like coffee and everything. And we see that Garrett is like very desperate for followers and fans and also friends. When he's at like his school, I would assume everybody would treat him good, like a god or something like that, because he is, the first son and everything. But they're actually kind of snobbish towards him. He's very emo-ish, and he doesn't appear to have that many friends, which is probably why he was so edgy in the first episode. But in this episode, you really see his vulnerable side. He's just a dork who's just like, needs attention. And he's a lot nicer to his brother this episode because, his brother lost Teddy and everything. Also, his brother and him are having a conversation, and they bring up that they had an older brother named Joseph, and Joseph died. Well, either Joseph was older or younger, they didn't really say, but they had a brother named Joseph, and he died. So they're getting a little bit closer to that. And so, like, basically, I think he's into Lexi. I think Leslie's going to end up falling for him. But of course, she's using him just to get an invitation, in which they get. Except for the mother, Charlotte, does not want them to come because after doing some digging on them, turns out about their past and their parents dying, showing nothing to do with them. Well, this is when Miss Fairchild comes in. Miss Fairchild, she knows about Chucky and all this other stuff, like, from the ending of season two, and she wants to help the trio out. So they get a hotel, they go to Washington, D.C., and so, like, she's helping out. She also talks about safe sex to that of Devin and, crap, what's his name? Devin, and I just said his name. Crap, what's the dude's name? Josh, Jake, Jack. Crap, what's his name? How did I forget? I'm getting old. Okay, whatever. Jake, that's it, Jake. Because, they was caught about to do it and everything. It's super awkward, and they're just like, okay, we'll just wait till you're like gone a lot longer, and then we'll do it then. And I don't need to see teens like doing it or about to do it on a television show. I don't like seeing that. I don't need teenagers like, sexually explicit. I don't care if they kiss and make out, but other than that, I don't want to see nothing else because they're teenage characters and stuff. And so Miss Fairchild, she pleads her case with that of like the first lady, and it works. And it's just nice seeing that, like it's really cool how passionate she is about these kids because they've been through a traumatic loss. I just wish she could have been shown more in season two because I honestly don't remember her in season one that much, other than getting mad at Lexi about something, and I think getting mad at Jake for like the doll and stuff like that. But then it happened. She's sitting down, everything's nice, quiet, is up close on her face. She takes her glasses off and everything's too quiet. And if you ever watch slasher movies, something's gonna happen. And it does. Chucky comes out of nowhere with the American flag and strangles her with it. And I was like, no, not Miss Fairchild. Like, she's hot. And she has red hair. But sadly, he choked the crap out of her. Boy, with that flag. And the way he strangled her with it reminded me so much of like the movies and stuff, and how he came up behind Lexi and started choking her in season one. Because this season, when he killed two people, which I will get to later, The CGI was kind of weird, or the puppetry was kind of weird and everything. Like it didn't have no weight behind it. Not with the gun and not with this next murder I'm about to talk about in a couple of like seconds. But this one you can actually feel through the screen and everything. And he tells her, I just couldn't resist. Like he had to make those kids orphans again. He really hates the trio. And so the fixer, Price, and the first lady find the body and they have to dispose of it. Why? Like I said before, I'll get to it in a couple seconds. And so, like, of course, Chucky's gonna call the gloat, and he calls the gloat to like the trio and everything, talking about how they lost another parent and everything. And it's cool when he's being mean in a snarky, sarcastic kind of way. But I don't like it when it's in a comedic kind of way because he's all like, oh, wait, hold up, the Wi-Fi is not good. It reminds me of all that season 2 crap again. Or like Bride of Chucky or Seed of Chucky. I like it when he's mean and sarcastic, just not in a humorous kind of way. But before he killed her, he killed somebody else. And the strange thing is that he told her he could not resist. And he did not count her down. Why is counting down important? Because when he killed the secretary, because okay, the president, Henry wanted him to have Chucky in the Oval Office. His dad thinks it's weird, but like whatever. So Chucky can hear everything the adults are saying. And the president asked, has anybody found my letter opener, the one that Chucky stole? So at some point she's about to go home and everything. And so like she goes into the Oval Office and there's like a new guard comes in, and then like she finds Chucky on the floor. She picks him up and then all of a sudden he slices her throat with the letter opener. And the way he did it had no weight behind it. The puppetry was kind of weird, similar to how Teddy got shot and now her. There's just something that was off with it. But he just didn't cut her throat. He nearly chopped her entire head off the way it flapped backwards. How in the world a letter opener gonna cut through bone? Like, come on now. And he barely gave any thrust, so it just didn't seem all that believable to me, but it was a lot of blood. And when he killed her, he said 2 down, 3 to go. That was kind of interesting and odd. Why exactly is he counting down to, and who are the other 3? My assumption is the other 3 probably is the trio because he hates them to death, but it could be somebody else. And I do think it was the trio. Those are the last 3 because, they told him on the phone that, we know where you are and we're coming for you. And I think he said something along the lines of, no, I want you to come and get me and everything. So he wants them to come to the White House and everything for some bizarre reason. And, 2 down, that's Teddy and now the secretary. And now he has 3 more on his list. But what is so important about Teddy and the secretary? So that's something that's going to get revealed probably much later on. And so like the fixer, he's been hired to investigate these murders and clean things up. Well, when the secretary dies, he doesn't tell the president or nobody. He just tells the first lady. He's so smug, calm, collective, and militant. And he's all like, I never voted for your husband and blah, blah. Because her husband, the president, is the first independent president ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, we haven't even had one. And so, like, he tells her, do not tell your husband. We're going to clean this up. He literally calls in a cleaning team to clean it up and everything. And for some reason, he doesn't want the whole world, or at least the Secret Service to know, or the president for some bizarre reason. Then he blackmails the first lady. I assume he was gonna, when he showed the pictures of somebody making out, I thought that at first it was her making out with somebody else, but no, it's her husband making out with another woman. She said this has all been cleared up before he ever became president. So she knows he's a cheater and stuff, or at least used to be. And so he's gonna expose the world to her husband cheating affair if she blabs to anybody. He's been doing an investigation. He sees Chucky footprints. He measured them. At first, I thought he was going to think Henry did it. But then, of course, Chucky calls them up and he's all like, this is great. Like, you're covering up my crimes and all this other stuff. And I'm going to keep doing them because you don't want the word to spread and everything. I do wonder if he's secretly working for Chucky or something. Like, you just never know in these series. And so now Chucky gets to go on a killing spree, and this dude is literally going to clean it all up. So I'm intrigued for that part of this season and that part alone, because everything else is just kind of boring the crap out of me and stuff. Because it doesn't feel scary, it doesn't feel suspenseful, it doesn't feel slashery. But who knows? Maybe it will turn itself around and stuff. That wasn't that spooky. Alright, well, I shall talk to y'all later. Bye.